everyone to part 2 of our crochet along video series. You should have done up to row 14, and if you've lost track, forgot to write down which row you were on, you can always go back and count. You'll want to start with your magic circle there. That's kind of right there. And you'll count, what I do is I count the holes here. So I'll go ahead and do that. So that doesn't count, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I've got my 14 rows, and you should have 36 stitches in your entire row. The best way to double check that is to go through and count them. Oh, and we're also using, or I'm using anyway, a extra piece of yarn that's a different color as my row marker to help mark my first stitch in every row. I've already counted my stitches. I've got 36 going around, and if you'll recall, each stitch are these little sets of 2 strands right there. So that's 1 stitch. If you'd like, take a second to count all of your stitches, or count the stitches in your row. Make sure you've got the right number, count your rows, but I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So next what we're doing is we're gonna start what's called decreasing. We're actually going to do the opposite of when we started increasing the rounds. Started making our circle bigger, we're now gonna make it smaller. So round 15 is 1 crochet in the next 4 stitches, and then you crochet 2 together, which is a decrease. So we're going to do 1 right here, go under both of those, 2, and these are single crochets. I'm going to pause for a second and pull up my stitch marker and just kind of pull that through. Ta-da! Oops. 3, go under, yarn over, pull. So I got 2, yarn over, pull through. That's 3. And 4. Now there's a couple different ways you can do the decrease. You're essentially putting, instead of doing just 1, you're crocheting 2 stitches together. So I'm gonna do what I recall being called is the invisible decrease. So instead of going under both of those strands, I'm only going to go under the first one, and I'm going to yarn over and pull it through, kind of like I'm doing a single crochet, but instead of yarning over now, I'm going to go under both strands of the next stitch and pull through. So I've got 3 loops on my hook, and then I'm going to yarn over and pull through all 3. So as you can see, I've taken 2 stitches and put them into 1. So I've only got 5. And we're going to keep doing that. We're going to do 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, whoops. See, I do that a lot. Let me. All right, what is my yarn doing? There we go. Sometimes my yarn does not want to work with me, does it? There we go. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4 decrease, 1, 2, 3. Whoop. Wow, my hook is extra slippery today. 4. And then I'll show you in slow motion again that decrease. Under, instead of both loops, I'm going to go under just that front one, yarn over and pull it up, or pull it in, and then I'll go under both strands of the next one, both spots there, and pull it up, and yarn over, pull through, like I'm doing a single crochet. And keep going. 1, 2, 3, oops, 4, and decrease under that first loop, yarn over and pull in. Under both of the next, and yarn over, and yarn over, pull through all 3. One, 2. So 1. That squeaking you hear is just my hook doing a tight stitch. 2, 3, 4, and decrease. Come on. There it goes. And we're almost done. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, and decrease. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and as you'll notice, I've got just those 2 stitches left, just enough for my decrease. There you are. There's that first row. And so like how we increased how many we were going, or we were increasing around the last time when we were making our piece bigger, we're making it smaller. So instead of going from 4 to 5 stitches each, we're going from 4 to 3. So we want to do 3 single crochet and then another decrease. So I'm going to do my 3. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to go back, going from behind here to grab my stitch marker. And like I said, if your stitch marker is going at an angle, that is perfectly fine. 2, 3, and then decrease. Oh, you know what? I forgot to mark that we did another round. That was round 15 that we did. Oops. So 15, we are on round 16. So we did 1, 2, 3 decrease. We're gonna keep it going. 2, 3, and then decrease. Whoops. Come on. Grab it. There we go. 3. Well, decrease. Oops. My hook keeps grabbing other strands that it doesn't want to, or that it shouldn't. My piece does not want to cooperate today. There we go. There we go. Alright, so, and a quick little close-up look of your decrease there. You can kind of see it pulls those 2 stitches together. And on the outside, it just looks really neat. Really nice and neat. There's no big gap or anything there. There's 1. There it is. 2, 3. Oops. And decrease. 1, 2, 3, and decrease. There we go. Push my stuff off to the side. There we go. So 1, 2, 3. Come on, there we go. And decrease. If I can get it to grab all the strands. There we go, close enough. Decrease. Okay. 1, 2, 3. I've got my 2 stitches left. So D and crease. Might sound strange, but that's how I remember what I'm doing. I'll do D, crease, and then finish it through. Not that you have to, that's just something I do. So if you hear me doing that, that's what I'm doing. So if you've done the last 2 rounds correctly, you should have 24 stitches going around. I'm going to mark off that was number 16. And for round 17, we're going to do 2 stitches, or 2 single crochet, and then a decrease. So there's my marker 1. We're going to go through this pretty quick here. 2. I'm going to grab my stitch marker. And decrease. 1, 2. So as you can see, it's starting to kind of close up our spot here. That's what we want to happen. 1, oops, 2, and decrease. Whoops, come on, grab it. 1, 2, decrease. 1, 2, and decrease. You can see I've got a little bit of cat hair or something attached to it. Yarn has a tendency to pick up cat and dog hair, so you know, it just gets woven in. Just another little bit of love, I guess. Decrease. Come on, all the way through. There it goes. Two. Decrease. I got there 1, and then the second one right there. All right. Now instead of doing 1 single crochet and decreasing, we're going to go back to doing 4 and then decrease. So there's 1. And 2. I'm going to grab my stitch marker. Oops, there we go. So there's 2, 3, 4, and because we're doing the 4 in decrease, it's just going to be like a slighter decrease than if we were doing the 1 in decrease. Decrease, there we go. Two, 3, 4, decrease. I'm actually going to pull out my little stitch holder there for a little bit. Just pull it out a little so I've got more to work with. So it's still in there quite a bit, a little bit. One. Oops. Oh, I've got one of my own hairs in there. 2, 3, 4. I got my last 2 here. Decrease. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go through after this. You should have had, let's see how many, 15 stitches in your round here. So I'm going to go ahead, go back and count to make sure we did it right. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, 15. Yep, we've got 15 stitches in our round. So now it's kind of looking a bit more of like a round shape. So what I'm going to do now is remember this little end here, this little tail from our magic circle. I'm going to put my hook inside and go through the very center of where that magic circle was. There it is. I can get my hook to go through. There it is. So that's the very center of my magic circle. And I'm going to grab my tail and pull it through. That way it's pretty well hidden. You can't see it. And so now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to put just a little bit of stuffing in it. Actually, I think we're going to go ahead and wait before we put some stuffing in it. Get my thing back out, and you'll see that it's kind of going inward too, so sometimes you have to flip it out to see what you're doing. Oops. So that was round number 17. And the next one is we're doing the 1 single crochet in each stitch. So we're going to have 15 again. So we're just going to go 1 in each. So this is going to be kind of like the neck of the teddy bear. See how I'm kind of flipping it out so I can see my stitch more clearly? Just like that. Whoops. Forgot to go back and add my stitch marker. So let's put that tail back in there where it goes. Let's see, so there's that first stitch of the last round. I worked into that one, so that means it's right here. It's always a good trick to know if you forget to put your stitch marker in like I did, because that was the first of the last one, which meant I'd have to work into it, creating a hole for the first stitch in this current one. Oops. See how it's kind of going up now that we're just doing that one row of one stitch in each. There. And that was, yep, there we go. That was row number 18. So I'm going to mark my row. 18. That was row 19, actually, not 18, 19. All right, and then we'll do one more round before we try to add a little bit of stuffing to it. We're gonna do 4 single crochets, so 1 in each of the next 4 stitches, and then we're gonna increase again. We're gonna do 2 in the same one. If you recall, we did that with the last video. So we're gonna go 1, because the head and the body are all one piece. So we just finished the head, now we're widening our piece back out for the body. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to increase. We're doing 2 in the same stitch right here. 1, into that same 1, 2. So we've done an increase. We're going to keep doing that for this round. I need to go back and put my stitch marker in. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops. Being all slippery today. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so 4 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 in the same spot. 1, 2. You gotta do that just a couple more times. 3, 4. Oops, there we go. And an increase. So yep, you should have just that one stitch there right before the increase. Pull out more of my yarn. There we go. Because we're doing 2 stitches in that same spot right there. One and 2. There we go. So now that's round number 20. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and pull that out some so it doesn't get pulled through too easily. And now we're going to want to fill it a little bit with some polyester stuffing. Got my bag right here, and all it is just polyester fluff, but we'll want to break it up a little bit. Put it in a little at a time. We don't want to stuff it too much here, because over the next few rounds we can add more, and then once we get done with the body, we can add more stuffing to it just before we finish. And you can get this polyester fluff filling for pretty cheap from Walmart or whichever craft store you prefer. So I'll move it around in there, and it starts to fill out the more you put in, which is nice. There we go. And part of it is just trying to make sure that your end here doesn't get stuck and get pushed in. I've got a little bit in there, I can fit some more in. That's good. That should be good for now. Well, no, I'll stick a little more in there. So I always find a spot that just seems a little vacant. Oops. Bring my edge back out. There we go. And like I said, we can go through, put some more stuffing in it for later. But this kind of helps give our teddy bear head some shape. Helps it stand up a little bit. So it's starting to take form. So now I'm going to put my bag and fluff off to the side, and we're going to do round 21. So we're going to do a single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then we're going to increase. So we're going back to increasing rounds because we got to open up for the body. Alright, so a single crochet in the next 2. Two. So I'll go in here and grab my stitch marker. There it is. There we go. And then we're going to increase. So doing the 2 stitches in the same spot right here. 1 into the same 2. So we've got 4 stitches instead of 2 or 3. And we're going to keep doing that throughout this round. So that's, yep, there's my next one. 1, 2, get my little marker out of there. There we go. Whoops, almost. My hook does not want to behave today. And increase. 2, 3, 4. Just making sure I had it right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, okay. Just wanted to make sure I was doing that right. 1, 2, 3. Whoops. See? I almost went on, continued on. I do that a lot. We're still just doing the 2 stitches and an increase, but sometimes I get ahead of myself. 1, 2, increase. 2, increase. Gotta pull out some more yarn here. Sometimes you'll see in your yarn, you'll come across one of these where the strand just broke off and they tied it on together onto the rest of it in a knot. That is fine, you'll see those. Oh, nope, never mind, that one wasn't a knot. But you will see those and that's fine. It'll usually work right into your piece. One, 2, and I've got 1 stitch, but that's fine. We're increasing 3 and 4. So done right, you should have 24 stitches in your round. And see, it's starting to widen out again. And then the next round is 3 stitches and an increase. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to grab my stitch marker. So I got my 3 stitches and then an increase. Got an extra strand there somewhere. Let me take that one out. There we go. So that's my 1, 2, 3. I'm still trying to do that increase. There we go. 1, 2, 3. And an increase. Just like that. Two. There it is. 3. Increase. Right, I increase 1, 2, 3, yep. One, 2, 3, and increase. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, and an increase. 1, 2, 3, and our increase. 1, 2. All right. So now we should have 30 stitches. I'm going to go ahead and go through and count them real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Perfect. We've got our 30 stitches. So now that we've done those, the next 2 rounds, rounds 23 through, actually next 3 rounds, 23 through 25, it's just 1 single crochet in each, all the way around. There we go. So yep, feel free to add a little more stuffing as you feel needed in here to help fill it out as you're going, but for the next 3 rounds, you'll do 1 single crochet in each, and we'll see you next time for the next one.